Hello. We're going to talk about physical health today. We're going to do a little three-part thing because I don't want it to be an hour or 2 hour long episode and it just be me talking. So today we're going to talk about physical health. I think I already said that, but just to reiterate, cuz I see so much bullshit about physical health on the internet and it kind of drives me fucking insane. So we are going to talk about that today because it's fucking pissing me off. Okay, so as we all know, physical health is very important just in day to day general life, right? Staying active, eating right. You don't necessarily have to get 10,000 steps or go and run on the treadmill every single day or kill yourself lifting weights. If that's what you want to do, by all means go do it, but that's not necessarily necessary. Um, like I moved across the country in September of last year and I put on 20 pounds of mostly muscle. Just I don't do hour-long workouts. I work out almost every day, but it's not a consistent hour-long workout. Whenever I'm sitting at home after work or after running errands or whatever, um, I will do whatever workout I want to do at home, and I'll do it in like max out sets, like maybe 10 or 20 minutes apart, depending on what I'm doing that day. Every single time I get up from this chair, I do something. You can absolutely do an hour, 2 hour long workout if you want to, but that's not what you have to do. And dieting doesn't have to be miserable. Um, if you eat, say, like 70-75% healthy foods and you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. If that's what your goal is, you're going to lose weight. And like you don't even necessarily have to be active for this, but activity is important regardless. But if you're trying to lose weight, you could sit on the couch all day, and if you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. There's no such thing as good or bad foods. There are there are some that are better for you nutritionally, and there are some that aren't. I'll still eat fucking ice cream. I don't care. I'll eat an entire fucking chocolate cake or a cheesecake. Whatever. I have a sweet tooth. That's why I get my protein bars, because they're sweet as fuck, and I don't have to always get cake. Because, like I said, 70-75% healthy, and you're fine. What I've seen a lot is people will jump too far down into a deficit, like, and they're starving, like absolutely fucking starving, because they're used to eating like 4,000 calories. We'll just say 4,000. And they cut it in half, and now they're eating 2,000 calories a day. We get mad because we're in a calorie deficit that's entirely too big of a gap, right? And then when we get super, super hungry, we go back to binge eating. And because we never feel full off of half of what we were eating before in a day. You know what I mean? Don't do that, because that's how you fall straight back into the bad habits that you were just in. So let's say you eat 2,000 calories a day, you only need to drop it down to 1,800, because it's a reasonable gap. You're eating less, and you're not going to feel like your stomach is turning itself inside out day to day. You know what I mean? Count your calories. It's honestly a really good fucking tool. And plateaus are kind of inevitable whenever you're dieting. So if you are still not at your goal weight, or you're not quite where you want to be physically, just drop your calorie deficit down 10%. It's not much, like at all. I promise you don't need to kill yourself to lose weight. The scale can be a useful tool, but it is not a super effective way to keep track of your progress by any means, because your weight is going to naturally fluctuate between 1 and 5 pounds just about all the fucking time. Say you weigh, I don't know, we'll just say 200 pounds one week, and then the next week you're at 205, but you've been doing everything correctly and nothing seems to work, right? That doesn't matter, because that's just how the human body is. I fluctuate right now between 195 and 200 pounds all the fucking time. I'm not trying to lose weight, but that's where I'm at. 195 and 200 pounds. It's just kind of how it goes. Something else that I see a lot is that carbs are bad for you. No, the fuck they are not. I saw a video today that was the best analogy I think I've ever heard. Why would you use Gatorade to water your plants? Or why would you use diesel in a gasoline car? Carbs are a great fuel for your body. They're preferred for your body. So like rice, potatoes, bread, it's fine. I promise it won't hurt you to eat some fucking carbs. You will notice that you feel more and more like shit the less you eat carbs, because your body's not getting the fuel that it prefers to get. That's just kind of how that works. So whenever you're trying to lose weight, you want to prioritize protein and fiber. I got that from a TikTok creator named Liam. He has great advice for dieting. Like one of the best, I think. And when trying to bulk, you prioritize protein and fats. You still need carbs regardless of whichever one you're about to do. If you're trying to bulk up, you still need carbs. If you're trying to lose weight, you still need carbs. Carbs aren't bad for you. Anything in moderation is good. Okay? Like, I will have a Pop-Tart every once in a while. I will have ice cream. I'll have a cheesecake. Whatever. Like, and you don't see me out here weighing 400 pounds. So remember that dieting does never, ever has to be miserable. You can have pizza. You can have whatever the fuck you want. If you're eating 70 to 75% healthily, you're doing fine. Physical activity. I want to kind of get into that, because a lot of people seem to think that you have to essentially train for a marathon. You don't. If you're doing something, whether that be you go for a walk, or you go run on the treadmill, or you even lift some weight, do some calisthenics, whatever you're into. I like doing calisthenics personally. And sometimes I lift my dumbbells. It just kind of depends. That is going to be super important just for overall health. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to go in there and try to be a strong man if you're lifting weights. You start wherever the fuck your limits are, and you just kind of grow from there. Like, if you say you get on a bench press and you can only bench 50 pounds, that's fine. Next week, you go up 5 pounds, and so on and so forth. If you can only run a mile one day, next week, you try for a mile and a half, or even 2 miles, if you can do it without feeling like you're gonna fucking die. It's okay to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, or if you are like me and would rather work out at home, I generally work out 4 or 5 times a week, depending on the week. I have an active job anyway, whether that be carrying something or just holding something unnecessarily heavy up, whatever. That helps me with my physical activity, plus the workouts I do at home. If you don't have an active job, if you sit in an office all day or in a classroom, whatever, you have the option to go to the gym after work or before work if you'd rather get up earlier. I fucking don't. I like my sleep. I can't hardly sleep as it is. Usually, I have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to make sure I'm up and ready and have all of my shit sorted in the morning before I go to work. And I can't get to sleep until like 11:30 or midnight, but I'm used to that. I've been doing that for years. That's just kind of how my body works, I guess. It's very rare for me to get 8 hours of sleep, even on the weekends. It's so fucking rare. Sleep is important. It's so fucking important. Does a lot of good things for the body. Gives your muscles the time it needs to rest, your body to give you the natural protein that it produces. Restarts your brain how it's supposed to restart. My body just doesn't work that way. That's fine. That's how it works sometimes. I am trying to bulk, so I'm in a calorie surplus as opposed to a deficit. And even with a surplus, it's really fucking hard for me to bulk up because at least without feeling like my stomach's gonna implode because I ate so much. But regardless, it works. If you are trying to bulk and you have a hard time bulking, you could literally do what I do and it'll work. I've been progressively doing it. If you're trying to lose weight, you will get there as long as you're doing it correctly. You can't out-train a bad diet. And for bad habits in general, you kind of have to work on kicking them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't enjoy your sweet foods or your beer or your liquor, whatever. That's not what that means. You don't have to cut that shit out completely. Cut back on it, maybe. But you don't have to cut out everything in life that you enjoy in order to be healthy. That's not how that works. One of my friends is on a weight loss journey herself right now. And she has been progressively losing weight. And she's not quite at her weight goal, but she's getting there. She's doing the work to get there. She's in a calorie deficit. She works out almost every day. Like, she's not even necessarily like going to the gym and squatting a shit ton of weight or running a shit ton on the treadmill. She's doing workouts at home for the most part. It's not hard to do. It is hard. It's not complicated to do. But she also told me, the other day, she was like, I was at this weight and then I went up by this much. And I was like, that's normal. That's how that works. Your body's going to fluctuate regardless. And she was like, you're right. Plus, I can see the progress in the mirror. And I know because she's got a fancy watch, that she's been losing body fat. I don't know how that works, but I assume it works. I don't know that shit. I don't have fancy shit like that. I'm a blue collar boy from Texas. I don't know any of that shit. Please remember, it doesn't have to be miserable. It's a little hard, but that's okay. You won't get to where you want to be overnight. Okay? That's not how that works. You're not going to get there in 2 weeks. You're not going to get there in 3 weeks unless you're losing like 5 pounds. Something like that. It's not complicated. There's absolutely no reason for you to go on the internet and see that you have to eat 1,000 calories a day and be absolutely fucking miserable and you have to cut out all the good shit that you enjoy in your life and that's how you live. No. It's not how that works. There's a lot of myths out there. Be careful of what you listen to when it comes to dieting or just being healthy. It's really not hard. I keep saying it's not hard. It's not complicated. It's difficult. It can be a challenge. There are a lot of factors that go into being a healthy person. Genetics do play a part in this, but genetics will not stop you from being a healthy person. You just have to figure out what works for you. If you figure out what works for you, regardless of which way on the scale you're trying to go, it'll happen as long as you stick to it. There's a streamer I follow, real sweet lady. She used to be a lot less healthy, and she's perfectly fucking healthy now. She still enjoys a cheat meal every once in a while. She still has her sweets, and carbs are almost in a daily diet for most people. I'll have French fries or a potato or rice, whatever. I'll have a sandwich even if I'm just wanting a fucking sandwich. Real fucking big sandwich. Or a burger. I love me a good greasy burger. It's difficult, but it's not complicated. Remember that. I have another thing that I'm gonna go that correlates with this, but we'll get into that on the next episode. I'll see you guys later.